Welcome to Let's Grow Shopping. A bit wet today. I did all my planting and transplanting, it's like sowing seeds and transplanting yesterday, and today overnight, and today it's just bucketing down. We had 25 mil of rain overnight and it's already, let's have a look at the gauge, I think it's about 10 o'clock in the morning and we're already at 10 mil for today. So yes, raining cats and dogs. All the tanks are full and I'm going to show you a bit about where the water's going. If you're not outside on a day like today, you should be. Have a look where it's all flowing to and see what's really happening in the garden. There's a simple little method you can do to test whether your tanks are full or not. Just keep tapping them until the sound changes. So mine are quite high and so I need this test because I can't get in there to see it. I can tell the bottom of the overflow is about here, so we are as full as a frog at the moment. That's the only one that sounds where it's empty, right at the top. This is one of the systems that I designed into the garden right from the outset to try and slow the water down and make it do stuff that it wouldn't ordinarily do without human intervention. The water falls on the garage there and goes into the big tank, and the overflow that you can see coming out the front of the tank hits diagonally down to the wall and then under the pavement, under those two barrels, and it pops up and overflows into this pipe, which is above a garden bed with olive trees, flowers and espaliered apple trees. Over time this pipe has sort of come slightly off the level and there's some bows in it, but you can see the water coming out. It's supposed to come out of all of the holes at the same rate, but with age it's coming out of these holes way quicker than most of the other holes. And so the garden bed gets ideally an even soaking right along its length. As you can see, it's pretty long and thin, and then I zoomed out on purpose so that we can go back in when there's enough water and everything's getting saturated. I put an ag pipe in the bottom of the garden bed and it flows out of this, so it doesn't fill up like a bath. It just empties out of these two pipes. This wood chip path is, at this point, it's kind of a channel in the rock below, and so I've just covered that channel with wood chip so it's flat, but the wood chip's nice and porous, so the water just flows underneath the wood chip, and it's actually rained that much you can't see the pipe, so the pond is filling up. About there, underneath at the bottom of the wall, is a pipe sticking out of the through the bricks, and the water channels through there and comes into the pond. So over time, obviously, that's filling the pond up. The pond gets to a certain level, which is about where it is now. I think it's that layer of bricks. So I don't let it overflow. I don't let it overflow this layer of bricks here. In the wall of the garden bed, I put gaps in a couple of the bricks, and so it seeps into the garden bed. So I'm watering all of that garden bed on the other side. And then the surround of that garden bed is just loose sandstone rocks, and it seeps out of there, goes down the hill, through where those pumpkins are, and into the bananas at the bottom. And so you can see, like, I'm basically making the water work harder through my garden, and so it's like one of those champagne towers that you get at weddings when you fill the top glass up, which is the garage roof. and then it goes through all the champagne glasses, which is the water tank, the garden bed, the path, the pond, the garden bed again, and then the bananas before it's running off and going somewhere else. So I'm trying to get the champagne, as it were, not to hit the table, putting as many glasses as I can in its path. Just been cleaning up a couple of the garden beds, ready for the video, and we've got some spring onions, beetroot, leeks, kohlrabi, beans, and pretty much the last of the eggplant. So there'll be a rather large vegetarian lasagna coming up. And now the pumpkin vines are starting to look more like this, all withered down and dying off, we can harvest the pumpkins. So just when you think you're getting a bit light on in the kitchen, there's all this to look forward to, as long as you like pumpkin. And if pumpkins come out your compost when you put it on the garden and you don't know what's crossing with what, you get these Frankenstein monster ones. That hopefully taste pretty good. This kale was looking really healthy a fortnight ago, and now it's looking absolutely terrible because of, I'm hoping you can see all those, I'm pretty sure they're cabbage white caterpillars. And look at all the droppings in the leaves, absolutely infested. So I'm going to chop that out and give it the chickens. And she's picking off all the caterpillars, which is awesome. Wicking beds, not producing heaps of food as much as I would like. Most of the seedlings I'm planting are getting eaten by, I don't know what it is, whether it's all slugs and snails or what. I've seen so many birds in these garden beds. Just there was a baby bush turkey sitting on top of them, kookaburras, butcher birds, the whole lot are sitting on here. I've never really noticed many birds on these garden beds before this season, and now they're all at it. So I'm toying with the idea of putting nets over the top of them just to keep as much as I can off. Yeah, there's not a whole, I've cleaned out quite a lot of stuff because it was just struggling along or going to seed, as in the case of the lettuce. So I planted a whole another row of cauliflowers in there, hoping this silver beet comes back. The old leaves were terrible, the new leaves are looking quite good. In bed 2, the silver beet's still looking okay. I've harvested a few beetroots, and the radicchio is going crazy. In bed 3, the rocket's looking pretty good on the left there. There's a row of, I think I put kale in this time, kohlrabi from a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure I've put in carrots that are just starting to sprout now. And this is what I think the birds go for sometimes, pulling carrot seedlings out, because one minute there's loads of them popping up and the next minute there's huge gaps in it. There's one pak choy doing alright, and I put in some spinach just to see if they'll work and not get slugged. In bed 4, there's loads of carrots there, but they're very, very patchy, so I've gone in between all of these carrots and filled out the roads with more seed, and so hopefully some of that comes up with this wet weather. And in the other side we've got silver beet doing okay, and an endive and a bit of basil. In bed 5 we've got more endive and a row of spring onions, row of leeks which I started harvesting. Some of them were big enough to put on the plate. Bed 6, I've cleaned out a heap of the lettuce. I've left a few in there just to sort of see if we can get another couple of salads out of those, but the ones that have really took off I took out. They've gone well to seed. A row of leeks on the near side here, I think there's spring onions on the other side of the lettuce, and spinach still going strong after all this time. Bed 7, I think these are either cauliflower or cauliflower I think. I put in some silver beet, a few kohlrabies still coming out, and a row of carrots coming up. That one's not too bad. And in bed 8 I took out all the ratty lettuce and the ratty kale that was completely infested, and again cauliflower's getting chewed on this near side, silver beet struggling along, spring onions not looking too bad, and one solitary lettuce that might give us some salad. And I've got 3 plants there that I have no idea what they are, and I thought they were rocket, but they don't smell of rocket, and so I'm thinking either dandelions have come up in a perfect row or there's something I've planted that I can't remember. In the Galaxy garden, Mercury is running away with potatoes, all in flower, so hopefully that means lots of tubers. Things are going great with that, loving it. In Venus I planted a whole lot more lettuce. Those are last fortnight's lettuce. These ones closer to me are this fortnight's lettuce. I've gap filled all the pak choi, which is just getting hammered as usual by slugs and snails, and I put in a couple of spinach in the middle of the pak choi just so that I can do a little experiment on whether, if spinach survives and pak choi doesn't, then I'm never going to buy pak choi ever again. In Mars I planted potatoes I think it was last fortnight. They've all started sprouting. Not all of them have come up, but most have, and so soon I'll be hilling these up. Some of them are getting big already. In Jupiter I've harvested pretty much all the eggplant. I think there's a couple left on this bush here, but I've left the others in the ground just so that there's something in the ground with the root system. I don't want to just clear it out and leave it blank till the onions are ready. The onions are not coming up very quickly in the seed trays. And I've planted a few more beetroot on this side of the bed that you can just see through the cosmos here. Looking at Saturn from the reverse direction, we've got the kale that's still going. I've took a load of that out. Some of it was starting to get ratty, but I just thought while I'm doing the eggplant I'm going to make this path available again. There's lots of kale sprouting off the stalks, like you can see it down here, just the old massive stalk that I've chopped off, but all the kale's coming off of that at various points. So yeah, it just keeps going and going. The broccoli is doing alright, a bit ratted with things chewing it, and same with the cabbage, cauliflower on the other end. I've gap filled all the leeks on this near side here, and on the other side the silver beet's growing quite well. In Uranus we've been getting beans still off the trellis, not heaps of them, but again I've not got the garlic, so I'm leaving the beans in, and I'm leaving the lettuce going to seed just to have roots in the ground before I plant the garlic. When you take the roots out, the bacteria go to sleep, so you might as well keep all the bacteria doing something rather than nothing. And then when I plant the garlic, hopefully everyone's still go. And in Neptune, these are last fortnight's peas, which are going great, and I planted another 7 pea seedlings at the other end, and a whole row of daikon radish down this near side. So look, these little seedlings here are all daikon radish. And just looking at that little triangle bed in the corner there, there's 3 pumpkins ready for harvesting just in this small space, and they've all, if I go up a bit, they've all gone off the wall down here, so God knows what's down there. I haven't even been down there yet. In the seed raising department, I've put all these pots in front of the seed trays just to see that the front row facing towards us of every seed tray I ever plant is terrible. Like, that front row must get baked in the sun and dry out too quickly, and the seeds don't germinate very well. So I've put this row of pots in front of it just to see if that makes any difference at all and we get more germination or more successful germination. You might remember last fortnight I did 2 seed trays. I've planted out all of the main sort of seed tray, and then I had all these other plants that I was getting going. So the rocket is, I've decided not to plant that after all. I'm going to see if it'll come good. The parsley hasn't sprouted at all, really. These were the daikon radish, which were great, so I've planted them out. These are the foxgloves that are still sort of very seedlings. I'm going to leave them. Chives haven't germinated too well. I've took most of them out. Still not wicked germination, only 5 out of 8, but it's alright. The red cabbage is still pretty slack, so I'll leave that in there for a while. And onions are still taking ages to come out. So these are the onions I want to replace the eggplant with, and there's only like 4 that have sprouted. Mid-March's tray, which is looking great. Some of these I was tempted to plant out now, such as the silver beet here, such as the spinach here, but I thought, you know what, no, I'll leave it and give them a month in here and see what happens. But everything else, with the exception of onions in the middle there, everything else is germinating pretty well. And we had a row of kale from March's tray that wasn't doing too great. I think we're getting towards the end of kale, and this row just hasn't really germinated too well at all. I thought I'd leave it another fortnight before I see if these seedlings will come up and bin the rest. And then we got April's tray finally, which is again more of the same. Beetroot, chives, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, peas again, silver beet, spinach, onions, spring onions, rocket, mustard and lettuce. So I've decided to have a go at some mustard, and if that sprouts really quickly and really well, I've got packets and packets of mustard seed I'm going to throw everywhere around the garden. Thank you for watching. Hope your plants are enjoying the wet weather as much as mine are. I will see you next fortnight. Thank you.